The views, thoughts, and opinions on this podcast belong only to the hosts and the guests. They don't necessarily reflect any organization or sponsors connected to us. We aim to keep things accurate, but everything you hear is shared for information, conversation, and entertainment. We're going to dive into good laughs, tough talks, and that genuine feel that you came for. So get comfortable, relax into the vibe, and let the moment unfold. This is Keep It Clean. Lock in.
Because if that means if saying it now, did you always say it? Then two, if you saying it now,
is this needed? Is it accessible? Does it change up everything? What's your thoughts? There's a game that's second place. Yes, second place.
Tell me why I'm watching the game on ESPN. One of the banners in the background is YouTube TV for the game, but we can't even watch it. How does that make sense?
$20. I don't want no $20. I want the game.
Every time you see me, I keep it clean like a coaster.
Welcome back. This is the Keep It Clean Sports Team, episode 24. Shout out to Kobe. Abe's so much of a hater and so much of a Kobe fan that he didn't remind me that last episode was 23 because he hates Jordan. Jamel's going to jump him in the parking lot. I just want y'all to know that he specified it's the Kobe episode. So, made me come up with a whole little quip to title it. And then the bald representative of number 23 wasn't even there for the 23 episode, bro. It's just so much happening, but it is Black History Month. Shout out to y'all. Black History Sports Show, right? Not even going to give
it at the same time. Wow.
You were being extremely racist just now.
Bald is racist?
Just breathe, Mel, man. You only talked about me because I'm black. If I had been 3 or 4 shades lighter, you wouldn't have brought up me being bald.
Wow.
You wouldn't have brought up number 23 and me. Come on now. You know what?
Man, that's what you get. Oh, that's what you get, man. Look, we happy to have y'all back. It's going to be super simple today, but let me go ahead and introduce the two brothers that y'all love, man. We got the Blue Boys, no affiliations. First up top from Michigan, good brother Abe. How goes it? Talk to the people. What you here for?
Here for good times, laughter with the boys, talking about sports. Obviously a blessing to be here every time, so I take it for granted never. Obviously, there wasn't a whole bunch happening as far as sports because we're in that transitional period between football and basketball, but it is at the same time heating up, so I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah, so mad at whatever happened, man. I'm sorry, man. Your hair will come back. You didn't have to leave like that, but we welcome you.
As soon as I get back, immediate racism. That's crazy. No, my alarm went off, and it
Oh. Was that your stop hating people alarm? You have to turn it off for the day. You clock out.
That alarm lets me know how much shit I can deal with, and you reach the limit.
Before
3 minutes in, you reach the limit.
Man, how goes it? The mailman has returned. How goes it, good sir?
Not too bad, young brothers. How are y'all?
Oh man, we're here, man. I'm excited for this week. We got some stuff to talk about. But first, y'all know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe. You're already on YouTube if you're watching this. On TikTok and Instagram, we're at the Keep It Clean Show. We appreciate all the comments and all the topics that you guys have given us, and please continue to do that. It's much love for you. It's just meant to be a conversation, and you are a part of it for sure. So let's get to what we have today. Cleaning list, the rundown. We got the Super Bowl, as was already mentioned. And we got some basketball. That's it, guys. Super Bowl in basketball. No need to overcomplicate it. I'm wearing a hockey jersey only for the support of Black History Month. Shout out to Willie O'Ree, first Black National Hockey League player of all time. You know what I'm saying? But we're not going to say nothing about hockey. Let's get straight to the big game. The big game, man. Who wants to go first? Who has the rundown?
I gotta tell my piece first. I'm sorry.
Tell your piece.
Whenever you write once in a lifetime and you just have that moment where you get to just bask in it. I got to bask in it. I was right. I called the game exactly how I thought it was going to be. I'm very happy for a few players on that team. Obviously, the whole game was just exactly how we all thought it was going to be. I told you guys it was going to either be the worst game we've ever seen or the best, and there was no in between. And this is probably one of the worst games we've seen in the Super Bowl. And they talked about all this stuff after they lost, of course, but the Patriots having like the weakest schedule of the season and everything else, and that's how they got there, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. All I know is it came to the big moment and it didn't happen. It didn't come into fruition. So the Seahawks defense literally was men over children. It just, you lined up, your kids were 15, ours were 25. That's just what it was. They just mowed them boys over. The guy Graham, the offensive lineman who was talking all that junk about how you're supposed to protect your quarterback, they were getting past him every play. And it just, you saw like a picture of like the defensive linemen all together. It looked like bodyguards. It looked like the people you're scared of when you walk into the gym. It was exactly the picture that you just had in your mind right now. It was everything on the defensive side. Offensively, they didn't have to do much. They didn't have to do much. They literally, Kenneth Walker held it down on the run. Sam Darnold did exactly what he was supposed to do, and that's not turn the ball over. You rely on your defense, you don't turn the ball over, and you still had over 200 yards throwing. What else do you need? It was exactly what we thought. I'm so happy the Seahawks won this one because New England, you guys haven't been that far gone that long. I still need another 10 years from you. So,
10 years.
Sorry. 10 years at least. So, sorry. Not sorry.
Okay. Fair. Jamel?
I think Abe said everything, man. The game was kind of boring until the fourth quarter when New England decided, hey, let's pad our stats a little bit because they weren't coming back. So that's all they were doing, padding their stats. I think Drake May had a total of like 270 yards, and 235 of them were in the fourth quarter. So, at that point, they were just playing catch at that point. It still wasn't as bad as the Patriots and the Rams. I think the final score in that game was like 13-3. What was that, 2019? That Super Bowl? That was horrible. So this one wasn't that as bad as that one, but it was not a fun game to watch.
Yeah. I'll say this. I'm gonna read a couple of the text messages that I got throughout the game. To Abe's point of the defensive line, bro, how many times have these linemen been knocked on their ass? My girl just asked me, do the Seahawks have more players on the field?
That's good.
I don't know if Drake May knows how to breathe today. We might as well just call Seattle's defense the offense as well. Those are
about right.
That I got during the game, right? I'm actually surprised, Jamel, that you said it was boring because a few weeks ago you were talking about how you love a defensive game. This was a defensive game.
Well,
both sides, at least for the first half, right? From what I saw. Hey, what kept my excitement for me, it was boring overall, but Seattle was hitting everything that moved. I'm watching it with Pops and I'm telling him, and I was like, man, because I think there was like 2 or 3 plays Drake May throw the ball up there, and in our mind it looked like a clean, clear interception. Nope. They wanted blood. They didn't even look at the ball. They went to just
the ball hit him in the chest, and he still drove through the player because he was worried about popping him. Yes. They
didn't care nothing about no interceptions whatsoever. They was out there popping. I don't know if they were better than the first Legion of Boom, but they're in the conversation. They put themselves in the conversation to just at least be talked about, man. Defense scored defense damn near scored before the offense did. The fact that they were just going back and forth in punts and you just saw the field possession change, it's like, okay, Vrabel got a chance. But Seattle didn't let them get within their own 50 until the last stat padding moments that Jamel was talking about in the fourth quarter, man. Couldn't breathe, bro. Tough. The game was worse than the commercials, though.
What happened this year?
I don't know.
I don't have one that I was like, ha ha. Like I didn't have any of that. I didn't have any. I thought one might have been clever, and the only other one had the Backstreet Boys song in it that had everybody singing, and but like that was it.
The best one was the Dunkin' Donuts commercial. And it wasn't the best because it was great. It was just better than the trash, and that you could tell they blew the budget on it because every A-list actor and athlete was in it. And then instead of having any laughs during the commercials, I ended up getting scared because the Ring camera commercial came on, and I said, "Damn."
Help your neighbor find their missing dog. I turned that feature off so fast. I've known about this for weeks because they sent the notification out to like Ring members being like, "Hey, by the way, this is a new way that I was on the internet like, how do I turn this feature off?" And they gave me the instructions. I turned it off immediately because they don't even ask you if you want to do it. They just opt you into it because they have and then you have to turn it off. What?
It's not off.
I know it's crazy, bro. That's wild.
Between the Ring commercial and finding out that we all understand the same thing, the commercials were just off. But let's get back to the game, man. You were looking for something from me, if I understand this correctly.
Yeah.
And that was for me to tell you that Kenneth Walker was the MVP.
Oh my God.
Of the game, right? Kenneth Walker was giving us all the offensive highlights. And even then, you know what I realized about Seattle? I think Seattle has a vendetta against this man. He must have some type of blackmail on somebody. Even with no Charbonnet, they still refuse to let this man run the football in after he done got them all the way down the field.
know the drill. You know the drill. Get over here.
What? Throwing pass plays from the they refuse to let this man score, man. But he was running.
Yeah.
He was running. He was the only offensive highlight for both teams the entire game.
Can we talk about how conservatively New England played?
Yes.
Like, that was a real problem. Like, I was watching the game and I understood that there are times where you don't go for it because you just, you want to make sure you don't put yourself in a worse position than you already were in. But you don't want to go into the game not taking a swing. Like, you got to take a swing. You're in the Super Bowl. You have to take a swing at some point where people actually say, well, maybe I wouldn't have gone for that one, or wow, that lucked out for them. Like, the fact that the whole first half they just didn't take a swing, that really bothered me because you're now sitting in the second half wondering if you'll get your chance, not trying to force yourself to have one.
Was it because the offensive line just couldn't? The run game was essentially non-existent.
Yeah,
right? They couldn't do anything there. And then when they tried to pass, he was making bad throws early.
Yeah,
he was making bad throws early. He looked nervous. And do y'all think that might have scared the coaching staff into trying things? Because I think they believed their defense would at least get them certain stops to where they didn't have to go for it on offense. And a battle of those two offenses, it really, I think even we had said it comes down to who doesn't make the mistake on offense. Going conservative for conservative and then relying on the defense seems like the strategy that I saw them taking.
Right. What you got, Jamel?
I think their gameplay was indicative of their schedule. And we brought that up before, how they have the softest schedule in the league.
Because we ahead of time. We don't wait till after the game.
Yeah, facts.
Keep it clean over here, sir.
The only really tough game they had all year was that Denver game in the playoffs.
Right.
And they played a Denver team without their starting quarterback. So they met a complete team in the Super Bowl, a healthy complete team in the Super Bowl, and they didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
They were flabbergasted, hoodwinked, led astray. They didn't land on the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl landed on them. All right? Whew, bring it in, Jamalcolm X. Bring it in a little bit. So I really think that a team, like, you have to have some adversity during the season, so that way when the playoffs come around, you're prepared for it. You're prepared. you have to play those top tier quarterbacks and those top tier running backs and those top tier defenses so you're prepared for it in the playoffs. And they didn't do that during the regular season. But I think Drake May is the truth. I do. And dude's 22.
Yeah.
You know, he's playing in front of hundreds of thousands at the Super Bowl and millions watching. It's a lot of pressure on a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, when I lost my virginity, that was a lot of pressure. And I wasn't prepared.
What?
But here I am.
Hey, David, you about to mute him,
he's
right?
He's going to be good. He's going to be good.
That's why we have him here.
Super Bowl?
No, go on. I'm listening.
I'm just talking about pressure, man. It's a lot of pressure. Do I think they're going to make it back to the Super Bowl next year? I don't. Will they make it back again? Absolutely, but not next year. That 10-year rule sounds about right. I'm not ready for it.
They have the infrastructure to have a decent team for the next few years, which I'm planning on seeing from them because they are trying to build from what Drake May is. Like you said, he is young. He went to North Carolina. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of like jitters that he had to go through in order to like move on from this. This is the biggest stage. I don't care if you went to North Carolina or Alabama. This is the Super Bowl. You are not built for this moment. You're built to be in this moment, but you're not built for this moment. So like you have to go through the motions and figure that out. I will just say, I think that the Patriots were more worried about JSN and Walker and all the people on the offense to where they were playing so conservative. But the person that they should have been worried about was Myers. That boy went 5 for 5.
Yeah.
50-yard field goals, like 60. Like the dude was just on top of it. So you're worried about Darnold. What? Okay, now this is where I'm glad you said that. I know it's not sexy to give the kicker the MVP, but when he scores half of your points and he was absolutely perfect from the field, why not?
Because it's what you said is not sexy. You know the league don't want that. You gain nothing. If we were to look up right now the percentage of kicker jerseys sold overall, man, like I'm not even confident that they beat out most linemen. Then it's a kicker that it's not like he a cool kicker. You learned his name during the Super Bowl. He wasn't a kicker that like he had a little bit of personality and you've been watching him from beforehand. Who is this guy?
Yeah,
right.
No, it's him. It's so like him and the punter. The punter, when he was putting them things on like the 3-yard line or just like right there at the end, like the special teams was on fire for Seahawks.
You remember the punter was playing the coffin corner mini game from Madden and just red spotting it repeatedly.
How does it land on the 20? And get to the 3-yard line? How does it land on the 5 and get out on the 3-yard line? The one where he pinned in the corner where it literally dribbled out of bounds, I was like, and he was standing there like this because he was like, I've been working on this. This is what I do. Man. This wasn't a shock to him. He was like, yeah, back to it, and then walked off.
But y'all hit the nail on the head, though, when you talked about the offensive line. This is why left tackles are some of the highest paid players in the league. You've got to protect the quarterback. You have to. And their left tackle, I mean, their offensive line played horribly, but their left tackle, their left guard, they were either on their ass half the game or they were right next to Drake May because they were getting pushed back. Or there were times they didn't touch anybody.
Yeah.
It was like the Players Club. Did you pinch the bitch? They did nothing. They just let him get to the quarterback. So
did you see the one where the offensive lineman literally pushed the player into the quarterback?
Yes, I did. That's what I was talking about.
He had a line on him. Yeah, he had a line on him, and then he lost him. And the next guy, instead of trying to jump in front of him, tried to just push him and literally pushed him right into Drake May.
I think that was possibly the worst thing that could have been televised. That particular play you're talking about. You know why? Because we all know them. We all seen them in our lifetime. There are offensive coaches in high school right now getting ready to just destroy some poor, unsuspecting athlete of all types of weight room. Man, this is why. They're just going to keep showing this play, man. I haven't seen – an uptick in our future videos of power cleans like we're about to see now. That's all you're gonna see is just repeated power cleans. It's gonna be AI videos of power cleans, and then after the AI filter through, go through every Texas and Georgia high school, and it's just gonna be real corn-fed little kids, bro. They were getting bodied.
Yeah,
they were getting bodied out there. Yeah, it's to the point where they're outshining the kicker. Now, people, I know Abe is still waiting for it, and I just want y'all to be aware that he put in our notes as we were preparing for today that David, me, Ray, give Sam Darnold his credit. And I'll be damned that this guy has me trying to approach tomfoolery during Black History Month. Abe, I thought we were better than this, right? Let me go ahead and break it down for you, big guy. Let me go ahead and break it down for you. Yes, he had 200 yards. He did, right? I'm not going to knock him. Sam Darnold has a ring. There's nothing that you can say about the fact that Sam Darnold has a ring. Congratulations. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. While that's true, you still didn't disprove what was being said about you.
Oh my
God! Come on, man! What are we?
Sam had one touchdown. What was his QBR? His QBR amongst winning quarterbacks is in the bottom 5 of the last 20 years, right?
Stop.
Defense scored just as many touchdowns as you. Kenneth Walker is the MVP. He didn't do anything bad. He didn't do anything good. That's exactly what I said.
If the strategy of the game is don't throw the ball away, and then you still score a couple touchdowns while throwing over 200 yards.
Couple is a lie. He didn't score a couple.
Okay, I'm sorry. One touchdown.
One single. That's important.
Okay, and the other one was a run in. I got you. I'm just saying, if that's the game plan and the whole team is bought in because you literally said your team's not good enough to beat our defense, and all I have to do is put a couple scores up on the board to make sure we extend this game. I take care of the ball. Everything is good to go. That's not on the quarterback. He doesn't need to go out there and sling the ball. There are calls being played for him.
What you're asking me to give him credit. That's why I think it's funny because you yourself all season
you've been on Darnold's head, and I'm saying every step of the way he has been making progress, and that he has showed that he can be a quarterback. We've talked about stats. Don't just bring up this one game as if his stats don't prove that he's not one of the top 3 quarterbacks this year in passing yards. We're talking about a dude who has literally put the ball and the peel into people's hands all year. JSN doesn't become the top wide receiver of the NFL this year by just throwing the ball to himself. That's him putting the ball in his hands. So I'm saying, I'm not telling you to tell me that he's better than Josh Allen. He's a way better quarterback and all this other stuff. All I'm saying is give him his flowers as for what he did this past year to show that he's a decent quarterback that made it through the league.
No.
See,
5 touchdowns.
Here's why. Really quick. Let me Jamel, really quick. Let me respond to it because this entire season, every time that I've addressed Sam Darnold, you know what you responded with? The team. Every single time you and Jamel as a witness responded with the team. So now once we get to the Super Bowl, you then turn into give him his
so we've
credit.
never had a conversation about
Keep
his
the
stats.
same energy.
No, I am keeping the same energy. We have never said anything about his stats. We've never said anything about his stats.
I didn't say anything about him being bad. I said he wasn't great.
We've talked about his stats before. We literally talked about his passing yards. We talked about his QBR. So I didn't just come here and just say, yeah, it's about the team effort.
What did Sam Darnold do this playoffs that really stood out
there on the field several times? When he played the Rams, him and Matt Stafford were literally going bag for bag the entire game. You're not, and guess who was the MVP this year? Matthew Stafford. So I'm not sitting here talking to you about different situations of like, oh, how he got scapegoated because of the team. I'm telling you that there have been situations all throughout this year where Sam Darnold has shown that he is a good quarterback, and you continually shit on him saying that he sucks because of whatever past that you have on him. I'm cool with talking about the past with him not, panning out and doing what he was supposed to do in the Jets and in Carolina. I'm not putting that on him. Those are 2 terrible organizations. I'm telling you right now, in the past 2 years where he's been around a decent team, and then this year, the best team, he still showed that he can contribute. It's not just the team helping him. He's out there throwing the pill. How does he not get any credit for that?
You have the best defense.
Jackson Smith and Jigba led the league. He was Offensive Player of the Year.
Yes.
Someone had to get him the ball. Who got him the ball?
He did. He threw it to himself.
I mean, Barner, excuse me. This is the best year he's had. Their tight end. Best year he's had. Part of the reason why, and you can go either way. I know typically the run game opens up the pass game. That's how it usually goes. With today's game, with everyone wanting to air it out, the passes open up the run. You have Charbonnet and Walker, who had both good years. Both of them had good years. Part of that is because of Sam Darnold. And the fact that Sam Darnold can pull down a rock and run himself. I mean, dude had 5 touchdowns, no interceptions this playoff. Yeah, he's a part of the team, but you got to give him his flowers. You do. He could have easily lost that game, and he didn't. He could have made mistakes. He didn't.
Yeah, you got a ring. You got a ring. I said that. That's why I started with that. You got a ring.
But you have
no
to
one can take that away from you.
Like it's Valentine's Day. Like, Sam Darnold, will you be my Valentine? You have to. You got to.
No.
Ray, don't be like this.
No, the defense scored as much as you. No, not.
Oh, Mike. Well, the defense is just good. What do you want to say?
Yes.
The defense is just good.
I
can't take away from him.
I'm not taking away from him. I'm countering. I'm specifically speaking to what Abe's angle has been the entire year. If you're gonna say it was team every other time that it was given some type of conversation, don't flip to him now specifically because
that's not true. You can't tell me that I've been on the team all season.
It's on tape. It's on tape.
You can go look it up. I haven't said every single time we talked about Sam Darnold, it's the team. That's not true. So you want to call that?
You have spoken on the team every time he came up.
Okay.
It's on tape.
Okay.
It's on tape. He got a ring.
That's fine.
He do got a ring. That's where I'm at on. He got a ring. Can't take it away from him.
Unless we're talking about Michigan, I hate agreeing with Abe. You're making me agree with him multiple times. You could have just said, "Yeah, you're right, Abe. Here's his flowers," and we could have just moved on. But now I have to agree with Abe.
I can't even get a simple nod for the man being like, you know what, you did a good year. You had a good year.
I said he got his ring. No one can take it away from him.
That's a slap in the face, and you know it. You can hide behind this facade all you want to, but you literally saying that it's the team and the defense, and then saying he got a ring, congratulations. That's not giving any you're not attributing anything to him. You're just saying thanks for being along for the ride. They can read behind. We can all read between the lines, whether you want to admit it or not. And I'm done with the rage baiting because this is just
it's not a rage bait because he wouldn't be the first quarterback.
Because you're telling me that the entire time we've talked about it, I've only brought up the team.
He wouldn't be the first quarterback we put in this situation. He wouldn't be the first quarterback we put in this situation for a Super Bowl that they're just happy to be there. And I didn't say happy to be there. That's how you're taking it. That's not what I mean. You were there. I'm not saying you were happy to be there. You were a part of the mix. I don't want to put him in a situation like how they did Nick Foles. Right, you came in, you subbed. Nick Foles played his ass off, but it was one of those. Oh, the team was already there. You could have been a plug-in. That's not what I'm saying. In regards to him, it's not a discredit. You were there the entire season. Yes, we've had winning Super Bowl teams where a quarterback was not the main driving force, may not have even been the secondary driving force as to why that Super Bowl was won. That's okay. That's okay. That's where he's at. That's okay. You had if it wasn't the best defense most of the year, it was never below second, them or the Texans, either or, right? You did have multiple weapons on offense. That was already there. They plugged in a QB. Shout out to that. They had stats, but he was not the first or second reason as to why they won the Super Bowl.
They had, outside of shipping off DK Metcalf and not bringing back
Lockett, a great move.
They had basically the same team they had last year for the most part. None of the other quarterbacks could get them near the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold comes in and wins the Super Bowl. You got to give him his flowers, dude.
With over 4,000 passing yards for the year.
Come on, bro.
But
you're better than that, Ray. You're better than that.
I stand on what I said. We can see if he do it again next year.
Oh, no, I don't even
want him to win a Super Bowl. He wins the division next year. I have no issue giving him flowers.
Oh Oh my God!
If he wins the division next year, I have no issue giving him flowers.
Oh, Ray,
At least the flowers that y'all are asking for.
You sound like Pam Bondi at yesterday's hearing, dude. I can't
Ooh,
believe
don't
you.
disrespect me. I watched all 6 hours of that. Don't do that.
Right now. Abe, I am 100% behind you on this one, man. 100%. This is what you forced me to do, Ray. Sad face.
This is what I forced you to do. Everybody gets jumped at some point on the show. That's okay. That's okay. Everybody gets jumped and put your dukes up, man. But that'll make it an easy transition, bro. I want to start off with Isaiah Stewart. How do y'all feel? That's where I want to go for basketball. Let's get to Isaiah Stewart trying to bring that old Ben Wallace feel back.
He said, I got drafted to the Detroit Pistons. What do you think I'm here for? He literally said that. You are there for hands. You're not there for anything else other than hands. So you proved it. You jumped off the bench. You got a 7-game suspension, which I think is light, but this is also the Adam Silver's NBA. If this was David Stern's NBA, he'd be gone for the rest of the season with question of if he could come back next year. I think I don't ever want to tell somebody don't get paid. You definitely probably should have got more than 7 games, in my opinion, because coming off the bench with ice packs wrapped around your knees that have to separate while you're trying to square up, that's a different stance that I've never seen before. I don't think any of us really have seen. And grabbing people's hair, stuff like that. Like, I don't know what anger issues my man got, because clearly he's got a few, but we need to work past those, because the week before you had Duncan Robinson telling him, look at the growth. And then the next week he's out there scrapping with the whole team. I understand you ride with your teammates. You make sure that, you can take care of them and everything. But the situation had actually kind of died down when you came out. You saw Miles Bridges separate from the group, and then you ran towards him. That's where I'm like, okay, you re-escalated the situation back to where it was. You didn't de-escalate anything.
Jamel?
The excuse, I got drafted by Detroit, what do you think I'm here for? Would he have said the same thing if he was drafted by Sacramento? What do you think I'm here for? He got drafted by the Clippers. What do you think I'm here for? He'd have fit in great with the bad boy Pistons. Because even Chauncey's Pistons weren't fighting like that. So we're talking about Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Rick Mahorn, John Sally, Bill Laimbeer. He'd have fit in great with that team. That's not today's NBA. And he's got to be smarter. Dude is a brute. He's built like a boxer, but he does have some skill. He's got some game. He's not the dude you put out there just to get fouls. He's got some game. And he's going to end up hurting his team, because this isn't the first time he's done stuff like this. I remember when he had it out with LeBron, and he got suspended. I think he got a 4-game suspension for that one. So it's not the first time he's done this. You got to be smarter. If the Pistons were a garbage team, it'd be different. No one would care. You're in first place. You're in first place. Dude, you've got to be smarter than that.
Him running off the bench, especially for what both of y'all just said, and more to what Jamel just ended with, you've been suspended before for this. And then him coming off the bench, I thought that was at least 10. Yeah. 10-game suspension. Man,
David Stern's NBA.
Yeah, and David Stern might have gave him a quick 25.
Stern got him for the whole year, but he gave him 25.
Yeah, Stern would have at least gave him 25, man. Now, I do have to throw this quick tidbit in. The way that the fight started was weird. There wasn't in necessarily almost fight. I do believe if Durant could have got around him, I do think he was swinging too. He seemed very like he tried to break through 4 strong arms or sets of arms around him. I think he might have did it. With that being said, Miles Bridges, I felt that Miles Bridges should have got the same thing that Isaiah Stewart got, because he was it like to there was a point where they almost had completely stopped it between Durant and old boy, and then Miles Bridges came up at half court. That's why he was even over there by the Detroit Pistons bench to begin with. So he didn't completely re-escalate it, but as soon as it was starting to die down, the fire then essentially went where it was. Say all that to say, though, there was a separate angle that showed had Cade Cunningham not happened to step right behind when he did, Miles had Isaiah off the ground.
Yes.
Say what you would, Miles, like everybody's trying to make it seem like Isaiah had him in a headlock. Nah, that headlock came after Cade supported Isaiah back to earth. Miles had Buddy, and I don't know. I just know 9 out of 10 times, if you're the one being power slammed, it's rare that you come back to win the fight. That's all I know. Would have been a hell of an uphill battle. Might have been the greatest comeback we ever saw if that did come to fruition, and Isaiah Stewart would be the most feared player probably since Meta World Peace became peaceful, right? You feel me? But I want to say, I think that's what, as me walking out on the branch, I think that's what the league needed. I think it just needed some type of action like that to kind of get it back to let's play the physical basketball. And I say this while also in tandem just with the grand scheme of things, a thing that the three of us have spoken about here, that old guard is now fading, right? They're not going to be here at best 2 years, maybe. So something needs to happen for the NBA to kind of garner the attention and get back to that field. Everybody's complaining. You and I were here last week, Abe, talking about the All-Star game. Nobody's here for it. As we are seeing today, Steph, was it today or yesterday? Steph said he's not playing. Giannis isn't playing. Cooper Flag isn't playing because of injuries. Like all these people are being subbed in as we went, and it's still nobody cares. They're not even eating. I can understand somebody, or I wouldn't be surprised if there was a story that came out that a player chose not to play just because he didn't care about it, but they dressed it as an injury. To get back to that physical place, to get back to the actual physicality, even if it's just the Charlotte Hornets who's on a rebrand tour of going on the win streak, because you highlighted them too, to see all that and then see how the Young Bucks are going at it. Just so happen to be two people that we know are known for trouble, at least the larger suspensions. But I think the league needed something like that when you're now being able to bring the highlight to how Jaylen Brown has been hooping his ass off, plays tough and physical. The Cade Cunninghams, he plays tough. He plays physical. You're starting, the guards are getting back. Anthony Edwards is bringing it to your presence. Like, let's get in the mix, the pushes, all of that. Like if the league just had a whole bunch of spawns of Jimmy Butler, now's the proof that here's what it is, right?
Please no. We still need to be able to get through the game. Yeah.
I mean, well, Jimmy's never been suspended out of the game. I will say that. Not that I remember.
He's been thrown out of a few.
Fair. Yeah. No, I think that was a good thing, especially because we were just talking about it last week for the trade.
Yeah.
This isn't job pretending to shoot a gun. They was ready to squabble.
Yeah.
They was ready to. They got in there, so let's play that game. That was my perspective on it. It was just weird that those two teams fought. What do y'all think about that? Was it a bad look, or is it to the point that nobody cares? So this actually got some attention for the league. Overall.
Yeah, I think it's one of those for me where I'm watching it, and obviously, you have that one, then you have like the Nas Reed situation. Like the temperatures are kind of rising around the league where, like you said, we're not just giving in to the old guard anymore. Like this is something that we have earned, and I'm not just going to let you step over me. We're going to handle this however we need to handle it. As far as watching it and enjoying it, I mean, obviously it brings the intensity of the game up, but then it also messes up the game at the same time, because now a few players who were in the game where the intensity was are no longer playing. And now we have a couple guys who are just subbed in who haven't been playing, and their only intention is to just hurt somebody because they want to send a message that you mess with my teammate, I'm going to mess with yours. So yes. I like the intensity that we're bringing, that we're saying we're not just laying down for the old guard. We're fighting for ours. We're here now. Give it up. That type of thing. I do like that notion that you brought. But I also just want it to be intense without it having to go there. because I'm okay with a scuffle. I'm okay with a scuffle, a little, head to head push, separate. We can do all that. That's fine because most people in the NBA really aren't fighting. But you found two people that we know that definitely are. You found Isaiah Stewart and you found Miles Bridges.
Definitely are.
You found the right ones that night. You know what I mean? So like they, Saginaw over here, Flint, like they're gonna fight, and then my man is from like where, like I don't know where Stewart's from, but like they came ready to go. So
yeah,
you got the right two, and then because like Stewart's ran in with like Draymond, he's ran in with Gobert, like he's had moments with
LeBron.
with everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, so he has the reputation already, and so it's just like I like it, but I just don't want it to mess up what he has going. He's a promising young star in the NBA. I understand that he's the enforcer. He's Draymond for Detroit. He understands his job and he does it very well. However, when you take yourself out for 9 games, 7 games, whatever, that now affects the game. When Draymond got kicked out of the playoffs, they were kissing their teeth and getting all upset because they knew that was going to be detrimental for the game. So keep it within reason. Do what you need to do. I don't think we need to be swinging on everybody in the court. That is also coming from someone who has swung on the court. So I understand both sides, but I'm just saying, like, there is a point where we're actually looking at this from the team perspective, saying, hey, look, we're number one, like Jamel said. We're number one. Like, we're not bottom of the barrel. We top dog right now. So we need to keep everybody on their P's and Q's. And especially going into All-Star Weekend when no one cares about, we actually care about these games right now because everything feels like it's just building up to this moment, which I hope continues after the All-Star break.
Right. Now, I'm glad you said that because for y'all that don't know, man, Abe's so serious about it. Not only has he swung on the court, he almost swung on me on the court.
Listen, man, here we go.
On me. And this was it. We weren't, making money playing, but I did have money to make because I had a 9-to-5 job. I didn't want him to just swing on me like I had work in the morning. But
oh my god,
I had work in the morning. But no, I think I agree with what both of y'all are saying. You shouldn't. You don't want this to happen often. I do believe this was a good one-off. I'll amend my earlier statement because especially after you had said something, it was like I was thinking back and it's like I think that's also one of the complaints from just the fan and even some of the players was the little scuffles, how many we've seen since essentially the Malice in the Palace. Since the Malice in the Palace, we haven't really had a fight because of what David Stern did. We have a whole documentary from them now on Netflix on how that played out from each player's perspective, right? So it's been 30 years, more or less, or 20 years, I'm sorry, of the head-to-head little scuffles to the point where people were genuinely going, man, stop it. No one believes you. So all of it just started adding into all of this is fake narrative. Y'all are fake tough. Whoop-de-whoop. I don't need you to go out there and show that this is the UFC. But basketball is a physical sport. Sometimes that happens. And the combination of those two back-to-back games, I'm sure emails went out that night. They had 2 games nationally televised where buffoonery was afoot. Got you, right? Even Adam Silver's like, hey, relax. Sent up some emails. Let's not. There was some behind closed doors meeting of let's not do it again. What we did get a takeaway from is like just that we can get there. Yeah. And now that football is over, this is your time to shine. This is your time to shine as basketball because you did dub the All-Star game. But I'm excited to come back post All-Star game, right? And I also just want to know, man, what was that material of his jersey made of? Because the grip that Buddy had, and it didn't rip at all. Man, what is the new jersey material? Man, I need to know that. That was stronger than what was the tape? That was stronger than Flexi Seal. The little late night commercial.
Yeah.
Man, I'm talking about yokes, boy. Man, yeah, Nike did their job. Nike did their job, man. Jaren Jackson Jr. is hurt.
Out for the season.
Why'd you make that face, Abe? I said that. Why'd you make that face?
JJJ, all of a sudden, bro, we saw the writing on the wall when this happened. Jamel, when the trade happened, we said they're trading him there. They're going to sit him for the rest of the year so they can get a high pick. And then next year, they'll be reloaded with Kessler, with Markkinen, with JJJ, and Ace Bailey, and some crazy pick that they get in the top 10 next year. Why do we have to play this game as if we don't see what's exactly in front of us? Why do we have to do this? He's hurt for the rest of the season. He's undergoing surgery. What he's doing is making sure if there's anything, they're going in there microscopic, making sure everything is fine. So next year, homie, be okay. I don't even know if they'll put him under. Like, that's what type of procedure they're probably doing on this man. Like, come on, dog. He's hurt. Come on. Come on.
When I saw the headline, I immediately thought, I was like, yeah, at this point, because 3 or 4 people had already said they're not playing, it's like you kind of had to sell the excuse. Like, you can't all keep coming to the teacher saying, I got the same cold. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, bro, you know what? The rest of the season, if you let Anthony Davis get away with it, what's wrong with me, man? Trae Young not playing. Cool.
Yeah.
I guess we're all just taking a break. And that kind of leads me. I want to ask both of y'all. Jamel, you saw, to me, what I still think is basketball's glory days, or at least when they started. The 90s through the 2000s was the best era of basketball in my eyes, right? Abe, you were there around the same time frame. We're to the point now that not only are people not wanting to play in the game, it just seems like they're not wanting to play, period. At all. This is superstars. Like we've seen, but in the midst of the Ja Morant debacle, in the midst of what the world waiting to see if Giannis gets traded somewhere, Anthony Davis consistently being in the chicken wing, or that being the running joke. We don't even know what's wrong with Trae Young, right? Season-ending injuries just as soon as you get traded to a team you may not want to play for, demanding of the trades. All of this to this point is like, man, it seems like they don't even want to play. Is there something that could be done, or do you see it the same way as to where it's just, what is this sport anymore? What is it that we're watching? Are we watching out of nostalgia? Are we really here believing in what it is that's on the court, because it seems like they don't believe in what's on the court? Am I off, or are y'all seeing something similar? What does the game need?
So basketball, I mean, it's a beautiful sport. These players are some of the most skilled I've ever seen, and I'm talking about including the 90s, including the early 2000s. These are some of the most skilled players I've ever seen in my life. It's still a beautiful game. I don't think it's all on the players, though. I think a lot of it's got to do with management. They look at the 76ers, and was it Sam Presti who was there? And they just kept tanking. And they would take a draft pick, and they get Nerlens Noel, and they didn't want to keep him. Yeah, so they tanked some more, until they finally got Embiid. They started getting players they wanted. And I think that people have seen that, and they're using it as the blueprint. This is what we need to do. We need a tank. 3-4 years, the fans will just have to deal with it, but we're accumulating draft picks, and we're going to make our team better. And then they look at OKC, and they built their team through the draft. So I don't really think it's players not wanting to play. I think a lot of it's got to do with their management not wanting them to play.
Okay.
There's strategy. Yeah, there's definitely strategy in there. I agree with some of that. I also want to pose a question to the both of you. If you have a fully guaranteed contract and you're not really worried about making all NBA teams because you're probably not going to be there, or if you are there, you have to figure out if management will let you be there, because to your point, like, are they going to let me play? Would you still accept money from me even though you didn't have to go to work?
Yes.
Of course. As long as you don't have to for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but that's just kind of where I'm getting at. Like, if I'm one of these guys that they're gonna manage me to that point where I don't get free will of just playing basketball and being with my teammates, and you got me under minute restrictions or you're trying to tank the team or whatever. Yeah, bro. Like I said the last couple of weeks, like I'm hurt, and I go sit down and I go collect my check. Like it doesn't hurt me not having to go work for that money to still show up in my bank account.
Right.
That is some trickery they used to try to sell us on. Make sure you work hard for it because when the money comes in, it feels so much better. You kidding me? I would feel so much better if $1 billion showed up in my account rather than me having to work for it at the same time. Like stop it. Like just stop that lie, please. Like so I get the fact that the management is definitely too involved, but then there's also the player management of it. Players now have their own team doctors. They have their own specialists that they keep in house. Like, let's not talk about Kawhi Leonard and that whole debacle, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got all these different things and avenues and checklists and everything else, but it still doesn't equate to the player being on the floor. There's too many hands involved, and there's not enough, of the goal actually being for the player to be on the floor. And the strategies, to me, don't make as much sense as just getting the product that we used to.
I don't disagree. Yeah, man. I think you're spot on there. We, as a fan, just kind of have to sit through it because I don't know of anything that could be done, at least from the league perspective, other than it's like now you're playing with legalities of potentially allowing contracts that specify, look, we understand that you're injured, but after so many games or after this amount of time missed, because it still is a business, we don't have to pay you. Or we might see of a harder push in exclusions, like once it comes to the Players Association agreement but with the leagues and the owners and whatnot. That might be some of the pushback that we're starting to see because Joel Embiid is a shell of himself. Like Joel Embiid is probably one of the first time. This is one of the first times I've seen in his career that I believe is like, man, you are really messed up. Not to say that I didn't think you had bad knees. It was just to the point where we never saw you, and then your bravado kind of cooled off. He looks different. So I do get the player side of, man, I am hurt. Maybe there is a lot of games, these back-to-backs, et cetera, et cetera. Then the other side with the business is also, I mean, I've invested my future around you. We're seeing teams tank to the point where they're just trying to move to wherever they're trying to move. We argue about the conspiracy of Dallas all the time on what's going on, right? We know we got the expansion teams that are coming up, but there's always the call for the large city. There's always the call that if LA can have two and New York can have two, who says Vegas can't have two basketball teams as well? Who's to say that some other middle market team doesn't end up moving there? So I don't have you in. I can't rely on you to be on the court to seats. I've allotted this amount of money to you, so there should be some type of exclusion to where the team might be able to go make a trade to get a Jimmy Butler caliber or something like that. All these aprons that exist now, I think the setting up of the aprons was starting to try to get people back to playing, to both y'all's point, to playing, to not have these super loaded teams. So that way it's not even just worth going out there to have something competitive and all that. I just had that question because you don't get me wrong, man. If I'm at the crib right now and my boss texted me and said, hey, you don't have to work tomorrow, but I pay you your next 3 months salary. Oh, don't talk to me. Send the money and then block my number until the 3 months comes up.
Right. Don't ask me for none of it back because I'm not.
None. No, I'm not coming to the company luncheon. Yeah. I'm not coming to no potluck. Like the NBA might have the greatest FMLA package we've done seen in like corporate America.
Let me ask you both a question since we're talking about this. Is it the old guard that the league is trying to kind of weed out with some of this stuff? Yes. Because I feel like, that's how I feel. Because with the aprons and everything else, it's built for the people who set the CBA to even make that type of money. The Chris Pauls and all the people, the LeBrons and everybody, they literally had their hand in to make sure they get the max dollar, which is great because they did that for them and the next generation. But this apron thing is to just make sure that you have just enough veteran talent on the team where they have the max contracts and all that stuff, but you still have to draft well. You can't just buy your team. You have to do the ins and outs of the, making sure the intricacies of like the team is built together. So like I'm looking at a team like OKC where like in the next couple of years things are going to get a little sticky for them because they've got too many of those big contracts, right? They'll keep the core, but everybody else is just going to have to get filtered through with draft picks, and they're perfectly fine with that. They are totally okay with that because they have enough future to bank that on. But some of these teams that don't have that, that's why you have the Utah Jazz tanking. That's why you have the Washington Wizards going to trade for 2 All-Stars and then tanking. That is like they're showing their cards on the table because they're trying to play around the new rules that are set in place.
Yes. To your exact point, when it's all said and done, I think all bias aside of him as a player by himself, but I think that the conversation will arise as to LeBron's agency style, Clutch Sports specifically, and knows like how much of an influence between him, the player, and he didn't necessarily, I don't think he set the precedent during that conversation. It's like I can't keep it clean, like try to go back to see what player might have started the snowball effect. But just having that direct effect on the agency in the manner that they or the team and the front office, because there was the big fish, but I don't think it was just him. But even Chris Paul was a great negotiator. He did wonders for the
CBA,
CBA, like you said. But just I don't want to play for you no more. Trade me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to play for you no more. Trade me, and that's it. I will sit. You can try to slander my name all you want. Like the James Harden saga for the James Harden's career since OKC and how that's played. Like that's a conversation. I as soon as he retires, that door then completely opens because even it's hard to not conspiracy theory process Rich Paul saying, I expect Anthony Davis to be traded, and then all of a sudden he was traded. Like we can tie it together coincidentally. Dallas does want to leave, but it's just like you said something. Rich Paul was interviewing all these trades, being all that type of stuff. Yeah.
I don't see the problem with it. Rich Paul was doing some self-promoting. He was like, hey, my player, my guy is going to get traded. He ends up getting traded. And other players see that, and they're like, yo, I want some of that, My agent go out there and says, yeah, I'm moving. I'm going from this team specifically to this team. And then it happens. I want some of that. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about Anthony Davis because he's in Washington. Even though I like what the Wizards are doing, even if they don't keep Anthony Davis, even if they don't keep Trae Young, I like their core, especially with Sarr as the center.
Yeah.
They're building something there. They're trying to at least. Yeah. They don't have real big contracts outside of those 2 vets they brought in, Young and Davis. So they're actually building something. They've got a pretty good team. But I would, dude, if Rich Paul would negotiate my next job for me, even if I worked at McDonald's, they'd be like, how does this fry guy get $1 million a year? Rich Paul, nigga. Right? Rich Paul. All right. So my name is now Rich J because he done made me rich.
Yeah.
But I don't mind. He's not doing anything illegal. And players can't get charged with tampering. So you think agents don't go to players and be like, yo, man, if you were able to convince that guy to come to your team.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Yes, because it's not illegal. And the greatest example we've ever seen, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh at the Olympics. They talked about it. They made it happen. But I don't see the problem with Rich Paul. He's doing the same thing every other agent does. He's just doing it out loud. And I think that's a part of today's culture because they didn't have podcasts back then. They have them now.
It's the first time. Yeah, it's the first time we've heard this out loud. But the only thing I will say to your point, this man had the structure of the trade built out. One thing is to say, hey, my man, I want you, my man over here. I need him out of this place because this is just bad for his mental health. Whatever, that's fine. To say you could trade here, the money considerations that would go into the, he had like the ESPN trade done. That's where I'm like, you're overstepping your place.
Yeah, we might see some rules voted upon on what even as a media, media training will probably be a part of the new HR package, upcoming seasons, man. Yeah, no, okay. We got some conversations built up on that, but this was a short episode for y'all this week, man. This is a short episode, and we're gonna see where we could take it, because I would bring up the All-Star game, but
who cares?
One thing about the All-Star game, did y'all hear Kevin Durant call out Joker and Doncic?
Yep.
Yeah.
He said, y'all so worried about us, go ask them on the world team if they actually care. Did you see them in the last All-Star game?
And people talked about it like it was a basketball conversation, but Tony Kornheiser, because I love PTI, he said there's a racial implication there. Like, y'all come down on the black players, but you don't say anything about the white players or the Europeans. Mm-hmm. So Tony called that out, but I was thinking about that the entire time Kevin Durant was talking.
Yeah.
To contrast that with Nick Wright trying to talk about how to bring the All-Star game back and have a white team versus a black team. And I was like, man, at first when he said it, and I'm still on the side, I was like, man, you wanted clicks. You did. You wanted clicks. You was shout out to Ev, you was yearning for clicks, right? However, it wouldn't bring the All-Star game back. But as a brother, I do kind of want to see it, because we know what kind of ass whooping it's about to be. Like, I do want to see it, just not for the All-Star game necessarily.
We got a 40 ball on to send a message. You know what I mean? Like,
just to prove a point. just to prove.
And it's in February. Oh yeah.
Come on, that's why I said not for the All-Star game, because the month that it falls, and I don't want that to be, you going through the season and then we're planning what. But yeah, I'm with it, man. But we appreciate y'all coming out as usual. Like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Keep It Clean Show. That's our @ on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Go Blue Abe on Instagram. What is your Instagram handle?
Jamel Collins.
Okay, I know
my government name.
Your gov, yeah. Find them in the streets at Jamel Collins. Find him online at Jamel Collins. Find him wherever you need him as Jamel Collins.
You need help? Yeah, I am.
You know what I'm saying? Follow us, man. We appreciate the time, and this has been the Keep It Clean Show. We will see y'all next week.
Every time you see me, I keep it clean like a coaster.